Yep.
All right. All right, and I'm good as well. All right. For our final Thursday night game of the year that is never really supposed to happen because we don't record on a Saturday, it turns out to be one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year, before we end the season. With Shane, Scoop, Brandon, myself, Robert, in what just I don't even know where to start. This was amazing in so many levels. But Shane, as our resident Seahawks expert here, what is your overall reaction?
I don't know that I'd say expert, but I'll take the praise. No, it's I said this a little bit earlier. It's like I felt like in their first game this year, Seattle was the better team, but the Rams won. This time felt like the opposite to me. Rams felt like the better team, and Seahawks still won though. You know, and it's just, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, it's a divisional matchup. They're always going to play kind of close, especially when you have, play callers and coordinators like these two teams have. I mean, McVay McDonald that's got to be as far as head coach play callers going head to head, that's got to be one of the better matchups in the league that we see kind of consistently, obviously, because they're in the division and everything. And they're both calling their respective sides of the ball at the same time. So, and then, obviously Kubiak and Shula on the other side, great coordinators. And, this is just, I think, this is just a case of Seattle kind of getting within one possession, and then, that 12 man getting them kind of fired up and, just taking the momentum back. And I mean, Seattle is definitely a second half team. We've seen this all year. And, that was obviously the case again today. Although today it was really more of a fourth quarter team, not even a second half. But in any case, I mean, whenever these two teams play, especially in the last couple of years, it's very exciting. It feels like they really give each other their all, and you can just see they all come out with a little extra spit and vinegar, and they're ready to go. So that's fun. But I definitely wasn't. I mean, I thought Seattle would win close, but around the start of the fourth quarter, I did not think it was going to end that way. That was like leading up to the game. I thought, they'll probably win close. They'll split, whatever. But then fourth quarter starts, and they're down by 16. I was like, okay, well, this is over. But no. So,
I want to say this before I let Scoop go here. This is why I'm so thankful we had each team gets a possession in overtime. It makes for way better football, even under a 10-minute clock. Yeah. It's fantastic. Scoop, what were your overall thoughts?
Well, first of all, congrats on fans. I don't know what it is with the Rams and teams that have green bird logos, but they have late this year. But no, but I on the flip side did not think that the Seahawks were going to win this game. I thought the Rams were going to take it close. But again, it's at times it's just, who's going to make the play when it matters, and or on the flip side, who's going to make the mistake when it matters. And this came down to, I mean, every couple of weeks we talk about game of the year candidates. I think this one certainly has to be in the mix. And I think that this felt like a playoff game. Like we talked about how bad the primetime football has been this year on Thursdays, Sundays, or Mondays. If I get a playoff game this year that's like this, that's a game that I'll be glad I watched. And I think that's that's what you want out of your primetime football games, obviously. And I it's so bizarre because throughout most of this game, and I was kind of back and forth, but throughout most of this game, like even the updates you were sending me, Rob, like I was just like the updates made it seem like, or what you were, or just watching it made it just feel like such a mismatch. Like LA just felt like they had the upper hand most of the time.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And then of course you had Matt Stafford, who was vintage Matt Stafford, 111 passer rating, 457 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. Not the greatest completion percentage, but as Brandon and I both know, well, all of us know, obviously, but Brandon's the one who likes to talk about it a lot. You throw 50 times, typically it's not a great recipe for success. Even though I, not the greatest, production on the ground from Los Angeles today. And shout out to NFL.com real quick for a second. Your box score really needs to be fixed because I'm sorry, 39 attempts for 124 yards. That is not 9.4 yards per carry. Please send somebody to do basic math and fix that. But I digress. Puka Nacua, heck of a game from him today. 2 touchdowns, 225 yards, 124 yards after the catch. It just
Unbelievable.
Everything you look at on that, suggests that the Rams played a very good game, which they did. But again, if you look, and that's why Brandon loves to say you can't just look at the box score, you can't just look at or whatever. And this is a classic example of that type of game because if you look at the box scores, everything would suggest to you that the Rams probably won and won going away. But that's why you got to look at what happens in crunch time. You got to look at the advanced of like what actually happened when it matters. And at the end of the day, Seattle, from the standpoints that were crucial, got the job done. So hats off to Seattle, and I think that they definitely have. I wouldn't say that they're challenging the Rams for the number 1 spot per se, but I would definitely say that they made themselves look much more formidable for it. Even though there were a lot of people, myself included, who thought that I think people were a little too harsh on them after the last game against LA, because they really had to play their worst game imaginable, and LA had to play their best game possible, and that game ended up being a 3-point game. So I think that people counted out Seattle a little bit too aggressively, but I think they really made a statement tonight, and I was glad to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of.
Well, so I was just.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say about challenging the Rams for the 1 spot. I mean, Seattle is now a game ahead of the Rams.
They're number 1 in the conference right now after tonight. Yeah. So. And by the way, the 49ers are right there as well, which we'll see what happens on Monday night. But it's an interesting division. Brandon,
I'm shocked with that. With that defense that they have, I'm shocked.
I know, isn't that wild? Brandon, I mean, it is kind of one of those games where you come into a show like this and you're like, that was just great football, and that's all you can ask for, really. Everything else kind of goes by the wayside in most cases.
Yeah, this is exactly. If there's a game I could compare this to, this is that Chiefs-Rams game from 7 years ago.
Yeah.
This is because not totally a shootout, but not as high scoring as that one. We're still about 14 points off that pace, but just the right amount of offense, good defense,
Wild special teams.
Wild special teams. Some questionable decisions from each coaching staff. On third down play calls, fourth down play calls, whether or not to go for it. This game had everything you could. Hell, missed field goal that loomed large. Uh, this game had everything you could want as a football fan. This had every single element of good football. Had this played like a soap opera, for God's sake.
Oh yeah. I will say this is one I'm circling in 5 years from now for an off-season rewatch because
This is
holy crap.
I'm just gonna say it now. I don't care about any other game this year. This is the game of the year, unless proven otherwise in the next 2.5 weeks. But this is the game of the year. I'm not picking another game. This is it. It just and to go back to the whole box score thing, and this is why everybody people compare quarterbacks and whatnot. Everybody's like, oh, well, the box score says that this guy had a better game. It's like, well, yeah, guys can have a better game in the box score, but there's a lot more nuance to football than a guy just throwing for 500 yards versus a guy throwing for 300. And this is why I keep saying, because people, the casual fan loves to fall in love with quarterbacks that throw a lot. But throwing a lot honestly, if you throw a lot, you're not going to win a lot of games. You have to be balanced as an offense. That's just what it is. You have to be balanced. Or if you're going to throw a lot, you have to play into your strengths, play into things that work. Don't be slinging the ball down the field like a gunslinger. It works sometimes, but it gets you into trouble. Matt Stafford early in his career, I mean, Detroit wasn't great, but gunslinger, forced the ball into traffic a lot, didn't work out. Josh Allen now, gunslinger, forces the ball into traffic a lot, usually doesn't work out. When you look at a box score, it's a good indicator of how these guys play throughout the season. The thing is, at the end of the season, stats do add up and stats matter. But when you look at just the games, and this is why, how Scoop says that he marries the analytics with the eye test. Sometimes I do it on a lesser level with the box score versus the eye test. It's the same thing. When we talk about every year, we always hear from the media, "Oh, Dak Prescott's having a great year." If you can show me how many of those yards and touchdowns come in garbage time, then we'll really see who's right. But it's the Rams offense. I'm not liking, and what's funny is, I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but in the last month, they started off 9-2. They've gone 2-2 in the last month. Since they've made the transition to having a running back by committee, pretty much, or having a two-headed running back system, it's gone downhill. So the production.
Well, they can't have Kyron run the ball that many times. He's gonna fumble. They need Corum. That's the issue.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to feel like that one play where the ball bounces off his hands was nearly picked off. In that situation, was that second down, third down? What was that?
I think it was second down. Yeah.
But if you're gonna dump it off, I'd rather dump it off to the better overall running back. I know Kyron's got the fumble issues, but Kyron's the better running back. Especially on a late game drive. I know he's got the fumbles on late game drives this year, but I still trust him in the passing game more than the running game. If you're going to have him in there I'd rather have him in there for a play action and then have him get a pass dumped off to him than having him run the ball in that spot, which is, they didn't run the ball in that spot. So it's it's kind of like picking and choosing your moments. I kind of don't like mixing in the running backs like that. That's kind of how the game has gone now between them, Detroit, a little bit of what the Packers
Seattle too.
Yeah,
Seattle too.
It's kind of how the game is going, but it's last year the most successful running backs, and I mean just in general, I think even this year, even guys who are pretty successful this year, what they're doing is it's that having that main running back be your guy, and so we said for weeks now with the Rams, right? We said that their secondary scares us and their conservativeness down the stretch in games scares us. And if there's one, if there's one thing I also point to, also is I'll go back and this is why we say like things add up through the course of a game, but it was the early fourth downs in the first quarter. One of which they chose to be aggressive on a drive, and then ended up resulting in a penalty. They had to end up kick the field goal anyway on fourth and goal. That one I understand. The penalty wiped away the touchdown, so I get it. Then the next time they get down the field, it's 4th and 2, and they'd rather draw Seattle off than go for it again. Why are you half-assing it? Either go for it or don't. There's no reason, especially because 4th and 2 is not 4th and 5. You already converted a 4th and 5 in this game. So I don't understand not going for it on the next drive on 4th and 2 when you're inside, not even inside the 10. I think they were inside the 5.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you wouldn't go for it there. And so you wipe away potentially a first down and a touchdown off the board and kick the field goal instead. You lost by 1. That's what, a 4-point difference. That might have been the reason you won the game.
And then also that missed field goal towards the end, right? Which was massive.
There's a lot of little things, but I think the newest problem I'm starting to see with the Rams, and don't get me wrong, I love Matt Stafford. I still think he's the MVP. But the newest problem I'm seeing with the Rams is now, because they don't trust their running game, they're relying too much on him. And when you have to throw 45,
and Puka, yeah.
And the thing is, Puka had a great game. It meant nothing in the end because you lost. But if you face because your guys' secondary is banged up and whatnot. If you face a secondary, if you face let's say they get to a Super Bowl and they face somebody like a PS2, or in the NFC, hell, if you play Philly again, you face Quinyon Mitchell. Puka's not going to get that's not going to happen again where he goes off like that. That's just not. So you can't be so reliant on one guy. I mean, you kind of had to because Devonta Adams was out for this game, which I understand, but it shouldn't have been the Puka show because half of Stafford's completions were to Puka. I think when he completed 29 passes, 12 of them were to Puka. So that's almost half. So I just, if the Rams are gonna miss a guy or two, and they also missed Tyler Higbee for this game also, they've got to figure out a way to get other guys involved better. Terrence Ferguson, it wasn't enough. I would have liked to have seen a bigger role for him, especially with a couple guys down. I need to see something more than just, hey, where's Puka on this play? Find him, throw it, and that's it. Because that's not going to work come playoff time. Now, granted, Devonta Adams will be healthy for playoff time, should be, but I don't know. This game, and I told you, Rob, on the phone that this is. I was worried before, with the Rams kind of issues. Now I'm really worried seeing this. So,
yeah, I mean, and again, my thought, as we've talked about as a whole year, is we're really worried about everybody. And Scoop, you've said this too most of the year. We're just worried about everybody for different reasons. And we're just kind of trying to figure out who we're less worried about considering the matchup and things like that. And the game like this, that's this good, is kind of a good example of that.
Right. Well, at least in this case, I'm grateful that it was a game where both teams looked good as opposed to both teams.
Yeah.
It was a question of who was going to suck less. I mean, I'm grateful for that at least. Because if I'm going to watch a 3-hour game late at night, I would rather it not be, let me just see which of these teams is going to make fewer mistakes. But excuse me. But I think that, holistically and on the full scope of it, I do think that the NFL this year, I mean, we had that discussion a few weeks ago of how many teams did we all agree that we were still quote unquote in on. I think it was 3, and I think 2 of those I think we might have changed our answers on already. So
yeah,
it just therein is the volatility of the NFL, which is part of the be part of the intrigue of it, and then also part of the, what keeps us coming back week after week.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane, any final thoughts? We're going to do our post-credit scene a little early because Shane has to go in like 20 minutes. But any final thoughts on this game before we move on to that?
Because it's so late.
It is late. It is late. Props to you guys, man. Props to you guys staying up.
I think...
Oh, my God. Wait, can I pause you really quick? I just got some crazy... Okay, go. Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
The Seahawks are the first team in NFL history to win an overtime game on a 2-point conversion.
Really?
Yep. Per NFL Plus.
Fun.
Isn't that crazy? All right, Shane, finish this off here.
Yeah, I think this game, more than anything, to me, it just... I mean, I've been feeling this way for a while, but to me, these feel like the two most well-rounded teams in the NFC. I think having them now split their series and playing such different games both times and still both being so competitive. First time it was a defensive game. And then this time it was, just crazy offense and they both stayed close in both of them, so I really feel like these are the two best teams in the NFC. And I wouldn't be surprised if these guys end up playing each other a third time this year.
I think we all would love that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably give me a heart attack, but it would be cool for the sake of the game. But yeah, so that's my thoughts there. But yeah.
Okay, so I got two post-credit scene things. We were just going to do the movie, but this came up on my TV and blew my mind. And I have to talk about it now or else I'm going to forget. So I don't know if you guys saw this on Prime because Shane and I were watching it on our local Fox affiliate because obviously in Seattle, it's what you do. If your team's on, or anytime your team's on Thursday Night Football, you more than likely are going to watch on your local affiliate. So there was a spec. Oh, you didn't? Okay, no. I did. I did.
I don't know why.
Our local Fox affiliate. So there was this Spectrum advertisement that blew my mind. So it's this woman, right? Like she's a paid actor or something, or not? Maybe paid for her testimony kind of thing. I assume it's paid for her testimony because why would someone write this for someone to say? She said, "I switched to Spectrum because I was tired of deciding whether to use the internet or take a shower." And I was like, "What?" That's an actual advertisement that I saw today. And I do not know what to make of it.
I think it's a pretty easy choice if you ask me, but
What? You're taking a shower, right?
But also, yeah. How does one stop you from? Are you chronically online that you don't shower anymore? Like
what? Okay, my question is, I get money and all that stuff, but there's a difference between your water. I guess she's deciding between her water bill and her internet bill.
Yeah, water. Water. The thing that humans need to live.
Either way, it makes no sense.
Wait, so you're telling me this one was deciding between her water bill and her internet bill? Excuse that's an actual advertisement for Spectrum Internet. What are we doing? Scoop, anything?
I mean, nothing surprises me anymore.
This is an actual ad on TV.
Thank God I haven't seen it yet. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe. I just thought it was cringe when I saw it. I was like,
oh, so you saw it too? I was like,
I mean, it's not just cringe, it's It's stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Like,
I was like,
oh
what?
God. Like, choose your water bill, lady.
well,
God damn it.
but also like you have some really bad financial problems if you're choosing between internet and water. Like,
And
you have
that's my question.
just
And
want to
that's
cut it
my
out.
okay, Brandon, excuse me, but that's my question. If you're being paid for your testimonial on TV, she looks pretty well put together. I mean, I get it. You were going to have people help with that. But someone that broke is not going to be on a television ad. I'm sorry. You're just not. They don't want to show you like that.
No.
Oh my god!
Again, doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But
Send me that commercial. If you find it on YouTube, send me that. I need to see it.
I'll try to find it after the show. All right, Shane, The Pianist.
yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say something more.
No, no.
Well, okay, so interesting story about this one. We were originally going to do Das Boot, which is a German film about it's like guys in World War II and the submarines, and basically how they all just like go crazy and lose their minds because they're all claustrophobic and all that. Which, certainly would happen to me if I was in that situation. But then we couldn't find the movie anywhere, or
We couldn't find the regular
cut. Yes. And we don't know, none of us had 4 hours to sit there and watch the director's cut. So I pivoted to our backup choice. I was debating in the off season between this one and then The Pianist, which is what we ended up going with. And this was a hard choice because, I told you guys, I said, I think I'm going to have 2 movies that get an A this year. The first one was A Wild Robot. The second one would have been Das Boot. So I was like, dang. But then I watched this movie. And this will actually be the real second A. It's... I remember I watched this for the first time in my sophomore English class in high school. We were doing a unit about the Holocaust.
Oh, you're lucky that you got to watch movies during that time because I did not. Anyway, go.
Well, this was the only one that we watched, but it's, I like how this is a war movie or it's not even a war movie. It's it's a historical drama set in a time of great conflict and stress and,
grief and
every negative emotion you can think of. I think Roman Polanski, who directed it, was he was a Holocaust survivor himself, and I think this is one of the more kind of terrifying experiences of that time, and I mean it's easy to see why because he lived it, and it's very you just see. We know obviously like what ended up happening, but it's interesting to see them kind of go through, as certain laws are passed and different, just like one by one by one, and thinking like, what is going on, and then obviously we know how that ended up going down, um, but yeah, and I think the whole piano kind of theme throughout it is very powerful because it's like when music does appear in the film, it's very rare, but it's like it means something, it's I mean, and like this the scene where he's playing silently in his head is just so sad, um, because it's like he can't do the thing that he's made for, just because I mean his life basically depends on it. um, and I like that it plays into the kind of the somber nature of what was going on, but it's not like all melodramatic about it. It's just there's a lot of silence and kind of stillness and just a lot of observation too. I mean, Adrian Brody, who plays the main character, is I mean, he's phenomenal. And he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't say as much as like a main character normally does, but I mean, you can see the whole story on his face, and his transformation as he goes through everything. I mean, it feels completely real and not just like a performance. I think he won Best Actor at the Oscars.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Some other things. So,
yep, and
well
he's
deserved.
he's also. This reminded me. I need to watch The Brutalist before year's end because he's in that as well, and so I need to watch that because I haven't yet. Although it's like a 3-hour movie, but The Pianist won 75th Academy Awards, Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Adaptive Screenplay.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, including a nomination for Best Picture.
Yeah. I think that ended up going to Lord of the Rings.
I think so. I think for the
Or
75th,
wait, what year was this?
This was 03.
Yeah, 02, 03.
Yeah, that was Lord of the
03.
Rings Best Picture. I think.
I'm double checking. Best Picture, Chicago.
Okay, so
Really?
that was 02, and then 03 is Lord of the Rings. I can't tell which one it was. Oh, yeah, it was 02.
Yeah.
I don't know why the other website said 03.
Yeah. I've never seen Chicago.
Chicago wasn't that
Lord
Anyways,
of the Rings.
Oh, wow.
Pianist. So
there was a Lord of the Rings in 2002 and 2003.
Yeah, they doubled up.
It was 1, 2, and 3. Back to back to back.
I also didn't realize Chicago was the same year as Gangs in New York. Wow.
Yeah, Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings, and then The Pianist.
Gangs in New York was a good movie.
Man, how far we've fallen in movie quality. Jesus.
For real.
Dude, it's true.
It's true. It is true.
But yeah, and I want to toss the scoop now. Not that I'm the moderator, but because I think he so perfectly put it into words where it's like you feel so haunted when you watch this, but we're just watching it. This was their reality that they lived.
Right.
And we see that in a lot of different movies on this time period. Another great one that comes to mind is like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yeah.
Which we won't do that because, I don't want to watch that movie again. But this one to me has always felt the most haunting, I guess. And I think the scene for me that always sticks out every time I see it is when the guy in the wheelchair is dumped.
Oh my God.
Off his balcony.
That was one of the two scenes that hit for me the most. This other one was when the child passed away in his arms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
when
like
that was
he's like stand up, and obviously he's not going to stand up because he's in a wheelchair.
you can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the family tries to escape, and they just run them over and shoot them. And that's the moment where I was like, oh, this is a living nightmare. Um,
Oh my god,
you know,
absolutely.
for the
But this,
and
you,
like Scoop
sorry.
said, that happened. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that's not
Yeah.
just a movie. Like that was something that, I mean, maybe not that exact situation, but like
Yeah, it's
something
crazy to
like
think.
that
It's
definitely
crazy to
happened.
think that like this in like as we know it for as like a film is concerned, this wouldn't be considered in and of itself a horror movie, but it was the horror that was lived by so many people for so long.
It is the definition of horrific, as you
Right.
aptly mentioned, Scoop. Yeah. But continue from
Yeah, I
there,
mean, this
Scoop.
was that was the reality for, you know, in the 6 years of World War II. That was the reality for the 8 million Jews in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Was
right.
that,
Continue from there, Scoop. Go ahead.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, I just mentioned the two scenes that really caught me the most, and I think sequentially, I'm pretty sure the first, like, obviously we see like the little buildups of it where like she doesn't have enough money, or like she doesn't have a lot of money, and then we start seeing the like those small little like things coming together, and the radio goes out and all of that. But I think the being on the street and him seeing the child on the side, I almost said the sideline. My God, my brain's still in football. The side street there.
The wall,
Um,
like trying to get through the wall.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, and I couldn't even really tell what was happening there. Like I was kind of struggling to kind of see what was in the corner there. I also was watching it on Tubby, so the fact that
To
I kept
be.
having
Yeah.
kept having ads pop in, but
Yeah.
just the fact that it was just that kind of is just where, and even when you have like the little build up, obviously they have like the people have to wear the star, the mark of David
The
and all
badge.
that
Yeah.
badge
Yeah.
of
The
David.
past.
Yeah. Star of David. Yeah.
Yeah, and but like that was, I think, where it really hit a new level of just like the reality, the intensity of it set in, the gravity of it set in, I think. um and I mean, like I mentioned in the group chat, I mean, I think we all obviously had a very difficult time getting through this, especially I don't know if I'm the only one who's watched this for the first time, but um so I didn't know what to expect, and that definitely was. But again, I think it's important that movies like this do exist, and it's important that people like us who don't know the I don't want to say don't know the reality of what happened, but don't
The gravity of it is, I think, the right way to put it.
yeah,
Like the gravity of it.
the gravity of it, but also just like this is one of the closest accounts that we'll have to the actual like specific
Yeah.
events and what an actual quote unquote day in the life, because like we all know the statistics and things of that nature, but to actually have something that mirrors a progression of the horrors of that, I think it's because it's like I said to Shane, or in the group chat, wherever it was, that's as difficult as it is to get through the 2.5 hours or whatever it was. I mean, for us, it was 2.5 hours on a screen. It wasn't 4 years of our lives, and that was for the people who were lucky enough to get through the 4 years. So, I thank you for recommending that movie, because obviously it was one of the hardest watches I've seen, but I'm also very grateful that I did watch it.
Yeah. What's your rating, Scoop? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Where do you put this?
I mean, keep track. I mean, I need you to y'all to keep in mind whenever I rate these, I completely lose track of what I've said from one week to the next.
Oh, we
So,
also do. That's why we do an end of the
Well,
year list.
if I'm rating this below or above another movie, that doesn't necessarily mean how I comparatively feel about it. I would probably give this a solid 8.5. I thought this was a fantastic account of it all. And really, there's not a ton, that I'm not really knocking it for anything. It's just the I don't know. It's 8.5 is already an extremely high thing for me. I don't think I've given any movies this year an 8.5 yet.
No.
So, but again, so I'm not knocking it or anything by not putting it at a 10. I'm saying that's it's so far it's definitely one of the probably the top movie I've seen that wasn't one that I already had watched before. Because I'm a sucker for the historical type movies. I really appreciate. Is this one of y'all would probably know because obviously you guys know movies much better than I do. Would this be considered the same genre as like a Schindler's List?
yeah,
Okay. So like yeah, those types of movies are ones that I always again like I can't watch them often, but I
no,
I
Oh, this is one we can't do again. I'm not going to watch this movie again for a while. I
me
can't.
neither. I
I
probably won't watch. I probably won't watch anything of this genre again for a while. Like there probably will not be another heavy thing on my television screen until 2026. But
Wait till we get to my movie in January. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
that's in 2026 though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
but-
Fair.
But no, again, thank you again because if anybody who knows me knows right after sports, history is my other big thing, and movies like this I think are always, like I said, it's important to, and I think for the for what he was trying to convey, or what they were trying to convey, and what they were trying to, the messages they were trying to, I wouldn't even say send, but kind of just keep those stories alive and keep those stories, there. I think they from the limited knowledge that I have, they seemingly did a very poignant job of that.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, go ahead there.
So, like when we hear or read about these things growing up in school, you kind of, every year you go through it, depending, everybody goes through history class so often, but you sit there and you kind of read the same stories and then out of the same textbook, and you hear over and over and over again about how horrible this time was in Europe in general, not just for these people, but during the Nazi regime. But it's one thing to hear it, like, or to read about it. It's another thing to actually see it put into a movie. Like, and the thing is, like, this is, at the end of the day, you are reminded that it is a movie, but this is legitimately how people live their lives.
I mean, it's pretty much a true story. I mean, it's about a true guy who. Yeah.
It's a real.
So, and it's based on a true story, which is insane to think about. But it's also like what's the scariest part about this is, and people kind of don't realize it because we think, oh, it was so long ago. There are people still living like Roman Polanski that experience this. There's people still living that lived through this. Like that's the scariest thing, is that we're not that in world history. We are not that far removed from this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like it's really, it's insane to think about, just to watch movies like this. And I even told you guys too how hard of a watch that is, because it's like it's not like it's enough to make your stomach churn, but it's like it's just brutal. This movie is brutal. This is absolutely freaking brutal.
We all felt it. This was a tough watch.
Yeah, like this is a movie that this isn't a movie that like so many of the other ones that we've done before. I mean, we've had movies with maybe one or two movies like this in the past that we've done where it's been like, oh, it's a tough watch, but like the other ones you can kind of, I guess, get away with watching, like on your own time, or if you want to put on a movie, but like, but this is not a movie you just put on and just watch casually. This is a movie that you put on because you're actually like, you have to be like a historian, and you have to kind of be someone that's brave enough to like the only way you would watch this movie is if you're like, you know, going into it thinking like, I'm watching this either because A, it's based on my heritage, or B, it's my family went through this and I want to see what they went through instead of them just telling me. Like, it's not something that you would watch out of your own accord, pretty much. But it's definitely, and it's crazy. This is the movie where it was like, I know Adrian Brody, but this is the movie where it was like I never took him seriously as an actor in anything he ever did. But like this is I was like, whoa, like that's actually really.
Yeah,
really
I will quickly pause you, Brandon, on this. I think this is one of the most important movies we've ever done in terms of just
Like
But continue on there.
Like, he's basically the main star of this movie because the rest of them are not that well known actors. This is his movie pretty much. He's portraying the main character based on a real person too. So it's a lot of it's told through his side. But when like people, it's funny how people, and it's funny that Scoop brought up Schindler's List, because that story is pretty much just told from the flip side of the same conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really kind of and people talk about how disturbing that movie was, but it's like, but you know what's funny? This is the first time I'm ever hearing of this movie, which is kind of interesting. But it's you can't imagine what horrors people. Like, we talk about our problems today, right? Like that, what we go through is nothing. It's nothing compared to that.
No,
not even close.
It's not even a hundredth of what they went through, and
we live very comfortable lives, relatively speaking.
Yeah. Like, we complain about a lot of things, but my God, like, duh, it could be worse. Look at this.
Hey, guess what we do on this show? We complain about our team sucking. Like, we're not even close to what. Yeah.
Like, it's just, and it's insane because it's, a lot of it. If you know history, a lot of this is very accurate to how they actually lived. Like, you're not going to do a movie like this and try to like fictionalize parts of it. This is not like a war movie where you can, like a traditional war movie where they take liberties on certain things. Like, no, this is they genuinely in that era, like to escape basically being killed by Nazi Germany. You had to keep moving. You had to keep hiding. You had to find ways to survive. You had to steal. You had to lie. You had to keep moving from job to job to job. Like, you had to do these things or else you were dead. There was no break.
I mean, it's not only that; it's starvation and water.
Yeah,
basic necessities. Like
it's insane that, and that's the crazy part. And also, this just from a obviously because it's from a movie standpoint. The hair and makeup done on Adrian Brody in the second half of this movie is fantastic. It shows the story on top of just him being having good facial expressions. Like, you can see that he just becomes ghostly in the second half of this movie. Like, he's withering away. And but the thing is too, is that you see that kind of that change in fortunes by the end of the movie when he basically has nowhere left to go, and he's spared by the German SS officer, and who helps him. People always forget too that of the people that did survive, there were German officers that helped them escape and that helped them survive. It's just, I'm like, every scene in this movie, it's funny because this movie, it definitely feels like a 2.5 hour movie. That's what it was, but it keeps you interested because of how gruesome it is. Like, just every scene is violent, pretty much, is bloody, is horrific, and and that perfectly kind of captures the time in which it was in. It This movie knows it's what its audience wants, or what it wants its audience to be, and it knows what tone it's looking for. Because a lot of movies that we talk about that are historical or war movies or whatever don't hit that mark. This one does, and it doesn't just hit it; it nails it home. Um, and I think that, yeah, I don't give out tens either. This is actually a 10 for me. Um, because I'm just now, the one thing I am curious about is, I think it's towards the second half, or in the second half of this movie, or might be somewhere in the middle. I'm not too sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. But when he gets on the train and they're telling him to go towards the the front of the German section, pretty much. And when you look at the three officers right there sitting there, is that one guy Hitler? The one guy that's sitting on the left in that scene, because he has the mustache.
I don't think it's him.
I don't think so.
Because
think so.
because it's I thought about it. I was like, well, he's got the mustache. He's got kind of like the shorter stature. So I was
I
like,
don't think that was him. I don't think
Yeah.
so. Scoop, do you have anything on there? Did you think it was him or?
Yes, I did actually.
Okay, I don't think it was. And I didn't notice it that closely. I will say, why did they? Most people will ask, why did he sit in the front? It's because it would be so unsuspecting for a guy to do that. To just like,
yeah, it's basically it's the whole thing of hiding in plain sight. That's what it is. So it's, you got to really,
I'm
but-
I'm gonna search it up if it was Hitler now. Now I'm curious.
It was not.
It was not. Okay.
yeah, because when I was looking at that thing, I'm like, like I was like, it's probably not, but I have to ask the question because I'm curious.
And he was also like in the middle of figuring out the war in Germany, like in Berlin at this time.
Yeah, he wouldn't be on a random train.
No.
He would be in Poland.
Yeah.
No.
But that's absolutely, it's insane that we like I said, we still have people that are still living that survived this. Like, we kind of forget that. We think, oh, they're so old, or oh, most of them are dead. That's true, but
I've met a few.
see, so like that's just, you can't imagine the horrors that it's like. People go through bad things every day in our current day and age, but it's nothing as a society. It's nothing compared to what they all went through at that time. So it's insane. And the fact, and then I appreciate a movie that doesn't shy away from something like that, because a lot of movies will water it down. A lot of movies will dumb it down. A lot of and there's a lot of subtleties in this movie. Like, I think I saw a couple of reviews that might have said, like, oh, what, we never got to see what happened with the family after they got separated. It's like, well, we know what happened to the family. We know what those when they packed those people onto those trains. We know exactly where they were going. They were going to die.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, people don't also got to realize this. You have to also, like, that's why I might not have learned a lot in history class, but the things that I remembered, I'm like, I know exactly what that is, what that is, what that is, what that is. Because I'm like, I remember, reading and seeing it. It was, you talk about World War II in your history class and Nazi Germany for damn near the entire time you're in school. So it's like, if you don't know what's going on,
it is like, since I was maybe late elementary school, middle school, definitely high school, definitely middle school, high school. It is your longest unit intentionally.
oh yeah.
It is intentionally, because you need to know everything about that. You must know.
It's because it's the worst period in human history. Because the thing is, also, you got to realize why you're spending so much time on it. Because it's coming right off the back of the Depression, and then you go basically straight into World War II.
Yeah, I mean, it's World War I, the Depression, and World War II.
Straight through. So
that's your and World War I was awful, and we didn't get to do enough of World War I, which, I mean, World War I is like, play Battlefield 1 if you want to see World War I in like its most brutal.
Well, World War I also had the Spanish flu going on at the same time. So I
Yeah.
mean, it was
That's
between
right.
the war and the Spanish flu. I mean, there were thousands of people dying every day just from that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything else, Brandon?
No, but I'll tell you what. Like I said, that's my first. That's probably gonna be my first and only in the history of the show. The 10 out of 10 I give. So that's probably gonna be 10 for me.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 as well. I was debating between 9.5 10. The thing is, I love the fact that it, as Shane said, like the expression, the visuals, the set design, all these different things. That's what made the movie great. It wasn't about them talking. It was just about what is happening. And then the trajectory of the lives. I mean, he went on the date with that girl and didn't end up having because he had to move like a week later, months later, or whatever. Like the trajectory of their lives. So this is going to sound really bad, but stick with me here. I had the thought during the movie, and I had the thought before a while ago too when I was studying it. It's like, if you're Nazi Germany, why don't you just shoot everybody that's a Jew and get it out of the way? And well, hang on, because I think
No,
this is important. I think this is important because their goal wasn't just to eliminate the entire population. Their goal was to humiliate them for entertainment, make them suffer for their entertainment. The amount of times that you see them laughing at them, making them dance, making them build these things for the Germans that they're never going to use. Their literal goal was
The first time I saw the dancing thing, I was actually honestly confused at first.
Yeah. It's because, and what I realized, it's because, hey, they want them to do their labor. They want them to be their entertainment, and then they're going to kill them. How do we humiliate them for being Jewish? How do we do that and then kill them? And to me, that is so much worse than just shooting them straight in the face.
Because of that, well, that's what they always say. Like, like when you see movies in this day and age, like when a bad guy says to a good guy that I'm going to make your death slow and painful
That's what it was.
Because the thing is, because the other alternative is actually quote unquote a respectable death, because you're just getting killed immediately. So that's not what they wanted, So that's even worse. It is worse. So
is worse.
But it's also, I mean, a big thing too that, and I didn't mean to laugh earlier. I just was caught off guard by it.
I didn't mean to intend. That's why I prefaced it by saying, "Hey, I'm going somewhere here. Hold on."
Yeah. No, I mean, a big thing too is like, because I've read about that. Because I've had that thought too. It's like, why do they draw it out for so long? And yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it's they want them to do their labor, but it's also like, they realize it's like, okay, if we can't just go in there and just start killing them all right away, because then they'll escape, they'll whatever, they'll emigrate. So they started making laws of like, okay, let's contain them to,
a
to
finite area. Yeah.
Yeah. They called them the ghettos, right? Which that's where that term comes from, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And, yeah, a little history lesson for you. And so, they're like, okay, if we can do that, then we can, have them almost like trapped, and then say, okay, force them all in here, get on the train. There you go.
We'll put a badge on them so that people know to hate on them.
Right.
Do all it, and then let's not forget the other piece of this. That, I mean, this is horrifying, because I know that there are people who are alive who are part of this, which is what makes it even more horrifying. Is that the Jewish police department was involved with the German. We saw that, right? With them getting on the train and saying, "Hey, go," and it's the German police pushing them on, or not it's the German police and the Jewish police that was made, basically.
Right.
by the jerk. Like that's as horrific as it can. I mean, not as horrific as it can get, but that was such an eye opener for me too. And I mean, I'll always have the wheelchair thing stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
But it's also the mother screaming. She's just like, oh my God. I mean, of course you would. And I would be screaming too. Hell, I think you all would. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just, it's wild. And I mean, yeah. And again, amazingly, there were a good chunk of people like Aaron Brody's character who did the exact same thing. Run around and try to find a way to survive. I mean, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, it's a 10 for the visual pieces and those things, but yeah, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal, but it's a really important watch. I am very pissed I never watched this in school because honestly, this is the best.
Yeah.
This is the best Holocaust interpretation I've ever seen on film.
Yeah.
I think what's the other one from
Shout out to Mr. Curl.
What was the movie? There's a movie. Shane, you might remember. There's a movie where like the dad tells the kid that he's in the Holocaust. He's like in the concentration camps, and he tells the kid it's a game, and it literally saves the kid's life. We watched that.
No.
It's like a beautiful something.
Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Is that what it was? Is that what it's called?
I mean, well, his dad is a Nazi officer who works.
That's not the same movie.
Okay, never mind.
I think it's called like a beautiful something, but essentially that's one of we watched, but I don't remember.
Yeah, beautiful.
Anyway, I think this. Anyway, that being said, I think this is a better movie because of what it actually.
Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the not the Christmas movie, the or whatever. No, it's
you're confusing that with It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, not that one. That one. But anyway, this one should be shown in schools, and it kind of pisses me off that it's not because I feel like I would have had we already had a good understanding for reading and textbooks and movies, but this one made me have an even better understanding of what they went through.
Well, that's also why when we talk about the Holocaust, it's like that's why people talk about Schindler's List because that's considered
that's the big one
watermark. Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, so.
But I think this is better, personally, and I think The Boy in Striped Pajamas is better than Schindler's List. I'll be honest with you. And I also think Downfall is better than Schindler's List. And that's not me crapping on Schindler's List. It's a great movie, but it's just kind of I feel like that movie's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's like not generic, but it's just, this is a good guy doing the right thing and
they glossed over it.
Yeah,
right.
Scoop said Oprah simplification. I think Scoop is probably right in terms of the words you're looking for. Yeah. But all right, Shane. What are we doing next week? By the way,
Stranger Than Fiction?
Stranger Than Fiction. Wait, are we doing Bad Santa next weekend or the week after?
Yeah, I was gonna say, when is that?
This weekend is Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh yeah. Stranger Than Fiction for the 22nd, and then the 29th we do Bad Santa.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Stranger Than Fiction is a very fascinating movie. I'm excited for that.
And then, all right, first week of January will be our action epic to end the regular season that I still have not decided yet.
All right. Okay. All right. Well.
Oh crap! I gotta go.
Yeah, I know. So, thanks for the extra time, Shane.
Oh, sure.
Peace out.
All right.
We'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, and to finish this up for the final time this season, we are doing our games of the week and our lines of the week. First off, the rules for this. for games of the week. No Saturday slate.
Damn.
No Sunday night. No Monday night. Those
Yeah,
are
I
the
wasn't
games you
gonna
cannot
take the
take.
Saturday games anyway.
Give me a second. I have to actually look at what's when.
But before you guys look, let me give you some lines quickly. So don't fully look because I'm going to give you some of the lines. Do you guys know Philly's line?
I do.
No.
Okay, Scoop, guess what it is? Because it bumped up, actually, from what it was.
All right. So remind me, the game's in Virginia, right?
Yep, the game's in... Is it?
It's in the DMV.
Maryland. They don't play in... They play in Maryland, not Virginia.
They collectively call it the DMV area.
Yeah, anyway.
So,
Either way, it still counts.
They're playing it. It's a Washington home game. That's what I was.
Yes,
That's what I cared more about.
yeah. They play in Landover, Maryland, which I guess is technically Virginia anyway. I don't think is that true. I don't think it is. Anyway,
I don't.
continue.
I'll go. Philadelphia minus what the hell? I'll go Philadelphia minus 8.
8 minus 7. You were close. It was 6.5 this morning. It bumped up to 7. Packers Bears.
Yeah, I'll go close. I'll say so. I'll say a close one. I'll say Packers minus 2.5.
Scoop.
I was going to say the same point margin, but I was going to say Bears minus 2.5.
It is flip-flopped a lot. It's Bears minus 1.5 currently.
Oh, jeez.
Bing, 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 bing. We have a special. College football playoff lines. Since it's also Saturday. College football playoff.
There's a game tomorrow, too.
Yes, and your game tomorrow. Do you know your line? Do you know your line, Scoop?
No.
Okay. Go.
I'll go Tide minus 1.5.
All right, Brandon.
College scores are always confusing because with college games they always kind of give a little bit more than NFL games do.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna say Bama minus 4.5.
Oklahoma minus 1.5.
Really?
Oh, screw that.
It opened at Alabama minus 1.5, and then it moved.
Where did Oklahoma get 3 points from?
I have no idea.
I guess maybe it's because their last win against Bama. I don't know.
Miami and Texas A&M.
I mean that should be high.
I have to take an upset, so I took Miami in this one, and I took Alabama.
Yeah, I'm gonna say A&M minus 10.5.
Okay, Scoop.
I don't even remember who you said, to be honest with you.
Miami and Texas A&M, the first game on Saturday.
Okay, and that game's where?
It is in Texas A&M. It's at College Station. Right, A&M's College Station, right? Am I confusing it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just said that many times.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to confirm.
Oh, boy. Shucks. I'll go A&M minus 9.5.
A&M minus 3.5.
That's it?
Whoa!
That's it?
Yeah,
Miami sucks.
It opened at A&M minus 4.
Miami sucks.
lines-
Oh my god.
Somebody was doing lines when they made these lines.
There's no way. There's no way.
I am taking Miami in that game. I'm just saying that straight up. I am taking them. But
If I didn't have a personal rule against betting on Alabama games, I might bet on Alabama to cover tomorrow.
it's not a bad thought. Tulane and Ole Miss.
Oh Jesus. I'm gonna say Ole Miss just because it's Tulane, because obviously Ole Miss should spank them. And because I know what the Oregon line is. I think Oregon has the biggest line of the weekend, so I'm gonna say Ole Miss is somewhere in like the middle of those. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Ole Miss minus. Oh, I'm gonna go high. Ole Miss minus 17.5.
Scoop.
I wasn't going to go that far. I was going to say Ole Miss minus 13.5.
Brandon. Old Miss minus 17.5. Good job.
Holy sheepdog!
Yeah, because I knew that the Oregon line. I know what the Oregon line is, so I knew that Oregon had the biggest line of the week, and I knew that I didn't
I thought
remember.
Oregon's line. I thought I remember seeing Oregon's line was only like minus 12.5 or something.
Is
Oh,
that your guess for Oregon?
Well, not anymore because of his face just then.
All right. Okay. What's your guess for Oregon then?
Now I'll say minus 19.5.
Very close. Oregon minus 20.5.
Okay.
it was it was 22 at one point.
No,
I
I
think.
saw it at 24.5 earlier.
Oh my god!
Hmm.
Why is it
22
going
must
down? Why is it going down?
That was my question about Oklahoma versus Bama. What did the Sooners get a 5-star prospect? I forgot. I didn't realize.
Oh
You
my
know what's
god!
funny? All week, Scoop. I was telling Brandon this earlier. All week with the Rams Seahawks line, it flipped between Rams minus 1.5 and Seahawks minus 1.5 all week. It was just constantly flipping.
Gotta love Vegas.
Yeah, I know. All right, back to the NFL stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are we doing here?
And just to make it clear, I figured that the Ole Miss line was going to be around there because I remembered that Oregon had the highest one, and I was like, you know what? I know that the Ole Miss one was second because they were playing another Power Five. So,
Yeah.
or group of five. So,
Yeah.
so I kind of knew there. I was like, okay, I have to go super high because I knew that Oregon's was the highest.
Yep. Okay. Chiefs versus Titans in Tennessee.
Because no Mahomes changes that.
That's like pot cookie sandwich right there.
That's my pot cookies game of the week.
You might as well take it.
That's that.
No, I have a different pot cookies game of the week.
All right.
I hate that game. That was the one game that I looked at in our pick'em league, and I was like, I don't want to pick it because I'm like,
Oh my god.
I reminded you twice. Oh my god, dude!
oh Jesus.
I said, make sure you do our CFP one, Scoop. Do that now
Okay.
before you forget.
Just don't pick the last four in the CFP one because those haven't been determined yet.
Yes.
So
Oh no, the CFP bracket one, not
the bracket one. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say. I mean, it should be a close line because the Chiefs obviously are done for the season and there's no Mahomes. So I'm gonna say Chiefs. I'll give them a little bit. I'll give them a little bit of a break. I'll say Chiefs minus 3.5.
Scoop.
I was gonna go give it a pick 'em and then give it a 3. Wait. Is it in Kansas
Tennessee's at
City
home.
It's in Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Because I was originally gonna say Chiefs minus 3.
I'm only saying that because the Chiefs' defense should do well against them, but I don't know about anything else.
Are you saying Chiefs minus 3, Scoop, or what are you taking?
I mean, I might as well just stick with that because I literally don't know what else to say. Even though that's what I was gonna do if the Chiefs were at home, but I'll just stick with it.
Yeah, good job. Chiefs minus 3. Good job, both of you being close there.
Yeah.
Chargers at Cowboys in Jerry World.
I mean, that should be higher than that than the Chiefs game because the Chargers are better than the Cowboys. They are. I'll say Chargers minus 6.
Scoop.
No, this is where I'm gonna be much different than him. I would have said either Chargers minus 1 or 2, but
I mean,
Because it's
Vegas is going to favor Dallas. We know
well, that's what I was
that.
gonna say is you give Dallas the points that you know that they're gonna take, and then suddenly it becomes a just slight Dallas favorite. Give me Dallas minus a half point.
Very close. Dallas minus 1.5. It opened at Dallas minus 1.5 as well. So
I guess. I mean, see, this is why I hate Vegas because Vegas doesn't know football. Like
Jaguars at Broncos.
Give me Broncos minus 6.5.
I'll go one down from that. I'll say Broncos minus 5.5.
Broncos minus 3.
Really? That's it?
You've got to be freaking kidding me.
It opened at Broncos minus 2.5 on
Okay, so
DraftKings.
it went up. But man, only 3?
Raiders at Texans.
Oh, Jesus.
Texans minus 9.5.
That's where I was gonna go. That's exactly what I was thinking of the second he said he read that game. I was like, yeah, it should be. Just oh my god. I mean, the Texans don't have an offense. That's the one thing that keep me from being that high. But that defense is gonna score. Is gonna score for them. I'll say Texans minus 7.5.
Texans minus 14.5. The biggest line of the week.
My God. I mean, yeah, probably.
Vegas likes everybody except Vegas.
And it opened at 12.5.
So it went up by 2. I got by a half. It went up by 2. Oh boy.
Steelers at Lions in Detroit.
Battle of the disappointments.
Yeah. And it's a battle of 2 8-6 teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
My. Well, the in Detroit helps. I'm gonna say Detroit minus 6.5.
Scoop.
That's about what I was gonna say. So I'll just say I'll drop 1 point from there, and I'll say Detroit minus, or no, not drop 1 point. I'll give give Detroit another point. Detroit minus 7.5. There we go.
Holy crap! Lions minus 7.
Oh my God! Right in the middle.
And it opened at Detroit minus 6.5.
Oh, come on. At that point, give that to me. Come on. At that point, give it to me.
Thank you, Sunday Night Football, for your first flex of the year. Maybe a little too late, but whatever. Our first flex game of the year is Patriots at Ravens.
Okay, that makes sense.
Where's the game?
It is in Baltimore. By the way, you know what the original Sunday night game was for this?
What?
Do you remember what it was?
Was it like the Falcons game or something?
It was Bengals Dolphins.
Ew! Oh my God!
I don't know if that's even a good game.
I
don't even know if that's a good game if both teams are fully healthy.
Oh my God!
So hey, it got flexed.
God
I'm gonna double check if that's correct, but I believe it is.
God bless the flex.
But that is an interesting game.
Yep, it was. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, even Ravens Patriots, I still can think of 4 games this week that are more interesting than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Dolphins Bengals. That, by the way, not only that got bumped up to the early window, it was so bad. All right, Patriots Ravens. Go ahead.
Should have gotten bumped up to Sunday morning.
I mean, the Ravens aren't good this year, but Vegas loves Lamar Jackson. And the Patriots, that brutal loss to Buffalo is going to stick in a lot of people's minds. But that Ravens defense still is not good. I mean, the Patriots defense isn't great either, but the Ravens defense really still is not good.
The way you said it sounds like you said the Patriots defense.
Oh god,
Pigeons defense.
might as well be. That's what the Ravens have played like this year. Damn, man. I'm gonna say Patriots. I mean, well, let's see. Baltimore gets the 3 points because of the home team, so I'm gonna go probably 3 back from that. So I'm gonna say Patriots -3.
Scoop.
And the Patriots don't blow anybody out. Remember that. So
Yeah, that is true. Go ahead, Scoop.
Excuse me again. I'll go Patriots -3.5.
Ravens -3.
what? Why?
Oh,
Why?
you want?
Who's
Okay,
on
so-
drugs?
It opened at Ravens -2.5.
What? Why?
Somebody was doing these. Somebody was doing these lines in Amsterdam.
What the hell do you look at in Baltimore and think that they're better than the Ravens? Or better than the Patriots? What the hell do you look at? Where are they at 3? Like, I understand maybe a pick 'em, 1.5. No, 3. Where the hell do you get 3 from? Like, seriously.
That means that on a neutral field they think that the Patriots and the Ravens are equal.
Not even close.
And you know what that tells me, that if I'm being genuine, you know what that tells me? That tells me they don't believe that there's a damn thing on the Patriots roster
Yeah.
that is like,
Worth talking about.
yeah, basically that they think that there's only so much that Drake May can do to overcompensate for all the other stuff when you bring in his value versus the roster versus Lamar Jackson versus his roster.
Yeah, again, but 11-3, that's still a tough sell even after what happened last week for New England.
Oh, I don't disagree. I'm just trying to rationalize
Yeah,
it.
no, absolutely. Well, this was originally one that I was hoping they would flex on Monday night. Not anymore. We get to see Phillip Rivers in primetime at home against the 49ers. 49ers, Colts in Indianapolis. Let's do a special. Let's finish off with Monday Night Football on a Thursday.
Battle of the quarterbacks being held up by toothpicks.
I mean, more for Phillip, but
Yeah. But still.
I mean, pretty much everybody on the 49ers is held up by toothpicks, isn't it?
pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Where's the game again? San Francisco?
it's an Indy,
Indianapolis.
Indy. All right.
which makes it harder for me to guess the line on that one.
Excuse me.
And keep in mind, it's Thursday. Like, this could change a good bit.
I'll go Colts -2.5.
You know what? I'll
Oh,
swing
okay.
it. I'll swing it the other way. I'll say not as much.
Actually, no. Actually, let me back it up real quick.
You're gonna say Niners -2.5, Brandon?
I mean, Indy's at home. If this was a Niners home game,
Because I'm struggling because we've seen two very different Colts teams this year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we still don't know what Phil Rivers is going to look like. I mean, after 1 week, he should shake off
No.
some dust, but not all.
But also at the same time, I mean, we're talking about literally a bottom 3 or 4 defense with San Francisco.
Yeah.
There are like 3 players that I like on that team: Fred Warner, Jair, whatever his name is, and Bryce Huff. That's literally all I like on that team.
Isn't Warner out for the year?
I don't
can't
remember.
remember.
I think so. I don't remember. I believe he is, though.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to stick with what I originally said: Colts -2.5.
All right.
Yeah. Warner's out for the year unless the Niners make a massive, like they get to like
Yeah.
the NFC Championship game, I think.
Yeah, so he is out for the year, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with it.
Okay, so Colts -2.5 for Brandon,
No,
or
Niners.
for Niners -2.5, and then you scoop with the Colts. It opened this way, so it still is this way. Niners -5.5.
Okay, I can see it. I can see it. I was originally thinking that, but I was like, yeah, I can see that. That's fine.
Do they expect Phillip Rivers to score negative points?
Maybe. By the way, the lines are already out for week 17. They've been out for 2 weeks.
God.
Yeah. I don't know why, but they've been out for 2 weeks. But that's all I got. Scoop, do you wanna talk about your power rankings and like your process for doing the power rankings on Substack before we go?
Sure thing. Here, let me pull up my link real quick.
I'm just curious what your process was going through all the teams. I don't want you to really spoil anything because I want to encourage people to go to that article, Football After Hours Substack. But
yeah. So first off, I want to say thank you guys for being down for me to do that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We got to keep doing it, dude. Keep doing it the rest of the way.
So basically, I had a general sense based on after looking at looking at the playoff picture and whatnot. I had a general sense of really who already had locked in spots, or who was, kind of on the upper echelon of that. So I already was going to work. That already gave me roughly a good amount of teams to start with, because we wanted to keep it to sort of like that 12, 14, 16 mark. And the teams, once I went through and kind of looked at the playoff picture from different angles, I kind of came with around that 14 teams. And basically I just kind of, and you and I had actually had this discussion where, I had written it from 14 to 1. And you asked me, do you want me to flip this and go 1 to 14? But I had done it that way.
Because it's not normal to do it 14 to 1 like that. It's just not normal.
Which is interesting because most of the things that I've read do it that way. They do it 14 to 1. But so I kind of was just looking through, and I looked at a lot of different factors. I looked at, I looked at expected points added. I looked at different things that occur when the game's in the balance. Like we talked earlier about Dak Prescott stats, patter central. We talked about how these quarterbacks or these different players, don't have to be quarterback, they get a lot of these stats built up after games are already out of range, either in favor of their team or against their team. So I don't really care about that. I wanted to get a sense of what's going on when these players actually have to make plays with a chance to either win the game or at risk of losing the game. So I looked at that. I looked at things like how teams, specifically quarterbacks, but teams on both sides of the ball, occur or perform on third down. I looked at how, pardon me. I looked at how reliable quarterbacks have been, not just at, not just at scoring, but in terms of just making positive plays, being able to actually advance the ball. Not everything has to be a touchdown, but can you move the chains, basically? I looked at how clean your team has been when it comes to penalties. Are you drastically hurting yourself consistently with boneheaded penalties? Because to me, that's a sign of either poorly, either not buttoned up, or poor coaching, or a combination. So I kind of brought in all these different factors, some on offense, some on defense, and then some related to coaching. And basically, I just took that subset of teams that I had mentioned and just kind of started picking through them, one at a time, and eventually got my way from 14 to 1. I kind of went back over, and there were about 5 different times where I had a team in a position and then I wrote in a different day. Like I second guessed myself on almost every single pick that I made, but ultimately when I went back and reread it at the end, I was happy with how it came out. And I think that what I wanted it to be was not just, I wanted it to be a balance between how I see the teams right now, but also how I think the teams can do going forward the rest of the year and into the playoffs, because I didn't want my number one team to just be the hottest team right now if I didn't think they could get to a Super Bowl. But I also didn't want the team to be, I think this team's, is the Super Bowl favorite if they're also playing poorly right now. So I wanted to kind of have it be a bit of a 50-50 of both.
Yeah, I hear that. And of course, Brandon does his weekly This Week in the NFL. That's pretty self-explanatory. He does a good job kind of, I feel like you almost make it like a poem. It feels like it kind of reads like that.
Well, I started because what I do, if Scoop's gonna explain his process, I'll explain mine. I obviously I start with the Thursday game. So I start with the Thursday game. I mean, because it kicks off the week, obviously. So, but like there's some weeks where we've had like bigger news than just like the like right before the Thursday game, where it was like we had the Nick Mangold thing. So we had to
Yeah.
talk about that before we got into the game. So like, I if there's a big news thing, either sad or just major change in the NFL, I'll hit that first before I talk about Thursdays. But usually for most of the weeks, 99% of the weeks, it's usually start with the Thursday game, and then I don't do every single. You can't do every game. I only do the games
because most games are not that important anyway in the grand scheme of things.
I only do the games of that week that pretty much are the most important. Either there's a division race on the line, there's playoff seeding on the line. If it's two just really good teams going at it, like two 10-win teams playing each other, whatever it is. So, early on it's kind of hard to do that because you don't know what the teams are. But by October, pretty much that's how I was structuring it. Was hey, Thursday, then pick like 2 to 3 games that were big games this week on Sunday, then do the Sunday night, and then do the Monday night if it's good. If so, that changes because if the night games aren't good, there's been weeks where I've really started a paragraph like at the end of my piece where it's like we're gonna forego Monday night because the game was crap. Like we're not gonna touch Monday night because it was a terrible. Because like it'll be like the freaking it'd be like the 1 week. I thought, what the hell is it? There was like a night game where we had. I think it was like.
There was one week where we had a double and both games were duds. I think.
Yeah, like I didn't
touch
either. Yeah, I think I didn't touch either. I just touched like the 4 best games of like Sunday.
Oh my! I think that was the Dolphins week. I think that was whenever the Dolphins.
It might have been the Dolphins week, but it was like, it changes. If the Sunday night game is good, then that'll be the last game I talk about for the week. If the Monday night game is good, that'll be the last game I talk about for the week. So I kind of either pick both if both games are good. So it depends on how good the games are. So I do it basically based on how good was the game, what are the implications for the division, what are the playoff seeding implications, and just which teams have the most just highlight players. Like if you have 2 teams that even like that, so that's what I did early in the season. Like early in the season when you don't know what the team's records are. The way I picked the games, like in the first month or first, maybe 2 months, was I did not just A, who's the hottest team, but then B, does this matchup have enough players that we care about for like either for fantasy reasons or like, and I think I don't touch fantasy at all on these articles, but just for fantasy reasons because people want to know if they had a big game or not. So fantasy reasons, or just if a team has a loaded offense, like an LA or a Philly or whatever, then I will touch those games early in the season. And then as the season goes on, if they're still really good, then okay, that's one of the best teams in football. We'll keep talking about them. So, but like I won't touch if it's like Patriots and Browns. I'm not going to touch that game because the Browns suck. The Patriots should win that game regardless of score. So I'm not, even though the Patriots are good, I'm not going to touch that game because the other team is so bad. So it has to be 2 at least decent teams playing each other. It has to mean something. So
I hear that.
That's kind of how I did.
Yeah. And then for me, studs and duds is really easy. It's actually easier because I've kind of amended the rule of talking about players back-to-back weeks. I'll do it if the guy has an interesting week. And like a lot of it is, hey, let's go on NFL's fantasy page on Instagram and see, okay, who did well, right? Or here are the specific stats that I want to hit. Like this week, we did Jason Myers and Texans defense in a fantasy playoff week. It's amazingly stupid. But I was just like, hey, we need to touch these people because if you have them on your roster, they more than likely can win you a fantasy title. So, and they're so short. I mean, those articles take maybe half an hour compared to what you guys do because it's just boom, 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 get it out. But great learning about both your guys' processes. And catch us going on the rest of the way. I will say for both of you guys, I will need help picking nominees for studs of the year and duds of the year again.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I will need help picking like who were the best players in fantasy and who are the worst. I always need help with that every year because I'm like, what the hell do I do?
I can think of just like the NFL this year. I can think of way more worse ones than good ones.
And we have to pick 3 guys that are good and 2 that are bad. So that's the issue.
And this is where my nitpicky ass is going to come in because so much of it's going to also depend on like, are we talking PPR leagues? Are we talking non-PPR leagues? Are we talking
everything?
There's so many different ways my brain can go with that.
Yeah.
I think,
And we count week 18 because some people play week 18 even though you shouldn't. Some people do. So
it depends how many stars play in week 18, which not a lot of them do. I'll factor in week 18 if the game means something for the team that's playing.
yeah,
Obviously, because if a star is sitting, I'm not going to knock his fantasy season because of one game.
yeah,
So, like, you know,
yeah. I like that you're wearing a John Cena shirt, Brandon, and Scoop
yeah.
is wearing an Eagles shirt because I'm getting ready for the game on Saturday. But we didn't talk about the John Cena fight. We got to do that at some point. We'll save it for another time. But
I know that a lot of people were. I know that a lot of people were annoyed by the fact that he tapped out.
We were hating it. Yeah, that's basically the gist. Is that we hated that. That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
We just hated the fact that he tapped out.
I could give you a million reasons why I shouldn't have gone that way, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, for Scoop, for Brandon, for Shane, for myself, Robert, we will see you back here on Sunday night. That's our last Thursday of the year. We did it. We're done with Thursdays.
Jesus.
It's over. We had to add an extra week, but it's over. Thursdays are done.
Oh, I can relax on Thursdays now. I mean, especially because between this and obviously, with the what's the scoop stuff, oh my god. Like, now I don't have to worry about my Thursdays being loaded at night where I can actually rest on my day off.
You know what's funny? The last month, so we don't have a Monday nighter on week 18, but our last Monday night show is wild card because our wild card show is always on Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're not done with Monday until wild card weekend.
That's fine.
So yeah, but Thursday it's over. So thank God.
Let me ask you this before we go, since we're talking about our articles and the process and whatnot. Do you still want me to do this week in the NFL for the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want Scoop to do power rankings for the playoffs as well until Super Bowl.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So I do want you guys to do it throughout the playoffs. I don't have studs and duds for the playoffs unless you do NFL fantasy.
Because a lot of people just don't. A lot of people don't continue. They finish the regular season and that's it. And then playoff starts.
I think you doing this week in the NFL for the playoffs.
It makes sense. Yeah,
it's really interesting. And I would say for the Super Bowl for you, Brandon. Well, honestly, I would say we just try to get him out earlier, like a Tuesday, instead of a yeah. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Studs and duds. I think for week wild card weekend when we do the players of the year, best and worst for fantasy, that will be a team project because I'm going to need help picking them. But yeah, so we'll deal with that as we go. So yeah. No more Thursdays, obviously Christmas. But even if it wasn't Christmas, all the games suck. The night games sucked. We wouldn't have done it anyway.
Yeah.
No Thursdays, no Saturdays. The rest of the way, we don't do Saturdays anyway. But
it's just Sunday, Monday from here on out.
It's Sunday, Monday from here on out. So we'll see you on Sunday. Have a great night, everyone. Peace.
Good night, y'all.
See you, everybody.
Peace.